Hey there, happy Tuesday. Welcome to another segment of Everyday Enlightenment. I'm Claritha and happy new moon. It's a new moon in Aries. Aries is fire. I'm feeling quite fiery today, so I hope this doesn't get too ranty, but we'll see how it goes. I'm noticing a lot of people talking out of both sides of their mouths. And another word that you could use for that is a little bit more direct is that there's a lot of people being hypocrites out there, just spewing hypocrisy left and right. You know, it's the do as I say, not as I do type of behavior and attitude and mindset. And hypocrisy is basically, engaging in the same type of behavior that you are criticizing somebody else for. And this is pretty rampant right now. And I'm bringing it up because you reap what you sow. The energy that you hold inside is what is reflected externally to you. And if you're here on this planet right now during this shift, most of us want to see a more beautiful, more harmonious, more loving society, right? So, that saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Very important here. And so the example that I want to bring up specifically is the emphasis on diversity and inclusivity, because in the United States anyway, this is something that has been sort of on everybody's radar in a more exaggerated way over this past year. And what I want to shed light on is the hypocrisy within the diversity and inclusivity narrative that we're seeing right now. So before you get mad, before you're just like, this is going to be total BS, just hear me out and try to unhook yourself from any like knee-jerk reactions, okay? So I have a point here, so I promise. So diversity, we know what that is in general, but I want to define it here so my point is a little bit more clear. So according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, diversity is the condition of having or being comprised of differing elements, variety. And diversity is a fact of life, right? Like generally, we appreciate diversity. And research shows that we, humanity, are better off in general, collectively, when we can embrace the diversity of the world, right? Not a stretch. And inclusivity, per the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is the quality or state of being inclusive, which is pretty simple. Basically not excluding something or someone based on a category that they fall into. So there is a lot of rhetoric and debate about what it means to be diverse and inclusive and what that looks like. The majority of this type of talk is mainly focused on improving diversity and inclusivity regarding access to things like opportunity, to employment, to financial equality, to gender preference, to sexual orientation, to food preferences, to language, to culture, etc. And all of it, I'm all for that. All of those things, like having more diversity and inclusivity and all those things, fantastic. Good for everybody. But I am calling bullshit on the people who are fighting so hard for inclusivity and diversity in all of those areas and more, but cannot or do not want to extend that courtesy to those who hold a different belief about their personal healthcare choices. Okay? So I'm talking about the thing, right? And wherever you are on that spectrum and what your beliefs are absolutely fine because they are your beliefs. However, coming back to the diversity and inclusivity thing, what you do with your body, it is no different from any other personal choices that you have, whether, your sexual preference, whether you choose to eat meat or not, whether you have tattoos or piercings or not, how you dress, personal preference, personal choice. Your body is your sacred sovereign domain, and you get to do with it what you like, right? And so if people are so hell-bent on and by hell-bent, I mean like really invested, like truly invested with their heart about inclusivity and diversity, but they shun, shame, or limit you from being an active participant in society because you have a different viewpoint on a particular issue, aka your personal healthcare choices, then that, my friend, is total hypocrisy. You can't have it both ways. It just doesn't make any sense if you're going to apply diversity and inclusivity to all of these things, but not this one thing. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So stop. Just stop. And do what is right for you. When we're talking about the thing, do your research, like do actual real research yourself instead of just taking the opinion of your friends or your family or whatever. And like feel what's right for you. And then make a decision from an educated and a powerful point of view versus from fear. Do what you need to do for you. And then, that's cool. That's what we all should be doing, right? Because your body, you are a sovereign and divine human being, and your body is your domain. So make the right choices for you, and then don't worry about what everybody else is doing, or don't try to dictate what everybody else is doing or not doing. So if you're going to preach about inclusivity and diversity, do it, because it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But do it at 100%. Don't do it at like 90% or 95% or 99%. Like do it, like really do it, and apply it to everything and everyone. And not everything's going to be to your cup of tea, your cup of tea, of course, because you have your own personal preferences, and that is absolutely fine. But don't be a hypocrite because when you say you're about one thing, verbally, but your actions are about another thing, or, there's misalignment between who you are, what you say, and what you do. If those things are not in alignment, you're actually creating more of the opposite of diversity and inclusion. You're actually creating more separation, which in the time that we're in right now, we don't need more separation. We've had enough of that, right? And so where we're going is where there is more love, more compassion, more understanding, and more honoring of people's sovereignty. Okay? So I didn't get too ranty. I'm kind of proud of myself. So the point is, think and be in your heart about all things. If you really are wanting to work on diversity and inclusivity, or just hold space for that. Because like I said before, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So something to think about. Have a good week.